So last year, Huawei actually went ahead and released the P50, which was the true competitor to the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. And now this year, Huawei's back at it, going ahead and releasing another flippable cell phone. Now, I will tell you right now, this is a very interesting cell phone. The P50 was interesting, and this phone is pretty much just as interesting. And I really think the look of it is what gets people kind of like, hold up, what? Because unlike what we see out of the Z Flip 3, 4, I would say the 3, the 3, 5G, and then the 4, is that this is not a dual camera setup on the front. So with that phone, we of course do have a 1.1 inch display, 1x1 display, and then we actually have 2 cameras on the front module. Well, this is a little bit different. If you guys never saw the P50, let me go ahead and give you guys a summary. This has 2, mark that, 3 camera modules on that little circle with a flash. So think of it like a little camo module with 3 lenses and a flash, and then the second circle that looks like it could be a second camera is actually the LCD screen. So of course this is, again, like I said, what they are claiming to be the true competitor of the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and Z Flip 4. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So starting off right away, before we get into the specs, break it down, this will be cheaper than both of those models. This phone will go ahead and come in at a price tag of $840, which of course puts a little bit of a change to the $1,000 price tag we see on the Z Flip 4/Z Flip 3. So a little bit better price tag wise. Of course, it is Huawei. Now, Huawei has had a decent, kind of weird reputation when it comes to foldable, flippable phones. They're not really the most, high tier / loved foldable phones, but they have made a decent amount, I will say. Some of them have been hit or misses. Some of them have been okay. Definitely not a Samsung type, reputation, or even an Oppo with their limited reputation, Oppo and Vivo. There's not as much love as we got from those companies. Now, of course, this is the same concept as the Galaxy Z Flip series, where it is going to go ahead and just be a phone that flips out to a 6.8 inch display. And then when you close it, you have that beautiful LCD screen with the camera module right there. So let's go ahead and talk about this, because this is, wow. First off, it is going to be using the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G. The Pocket S does not offer 5G connectivity in US due to US sanctions against Huawei, but it is still disappointing for an $829 phone in 2020. On the software side, the phone gets Harmony OS 3.0 instead of Android, which makes sense as the phone will initially be available only in China, and of course it will eventually become more worldwide. The rear cameras on the device includes a 40 megapixel main sensor, a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera. So actually it's only 2. I thought there was actually 3 there. It also does have a laser autofocus on board for faster focusing. For selfies, the phone features a 10.7 megapixel sensor embedded into the screen's punch hole camera. The phone has a 4,000 milliamp battery and 40 watt fast charging. Huawei says that there's an ultra thin bendable graphite sheet inside the phone for improved cooling. Of course, it does come in many different colors. And of course, when it is open fully, it does look a lot like a Galaxy Z Flip 3/4. So the question is, because we talked about this phone last year when they first announced the P50, and it's, should you pick up this phone? Is there any real reason for this phone? Like, what is the information here, right? This is another phone coming out in the foldable, flippable phone market. And usually when you see competition, it brings a lot of, let's say it brings a lot of, it's usually good for the consumer, because the more competition means the more people are going to start, companies going to start having to work harder to go ahead and get the best product possible, so you buy their product instead of someone else's product. Well, this is what, and I'm just going to be frank here, this is why a lot of people call the flippable phone market a joke. There's nothing wrong with this phone on the surface. But at the end of the day, this phone is, again, not meant to be released in the United States for the reason. It's not going to have 5G, but it's going to be what a lot of people consider like a knocked off version of the Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Flip 3. And I think this is what really deters people from going after these phones, because they think all these foldable phones are kind of just a cheesy gimmick. And, I've actually had one of my friends tell me she literally won't buy, she would buy a flippable phone, not to actually use it, just to have it like on her shelf to look at it, because it's a cool concept, but she would never want to use it. And I feel like this is what kind of is pushing that narrative, is when you see phones like this come out, where it's like, I'm not saying, you got to recreate the wheel, because yes, obviously, Samsung hit it out of the park with their concept for the Z Fold 4 and Z Flip 4. But you got to add some originality, some creativity, because if you're just going to copy and paste what they have and give pretty much lesser components, I just don't see the purpose. I mean, I don't see any reason why someone would go with this phone over a Galaxy Z Flip 4. And there's just no point to me. Now, you could say, well, the cameras are better. Well, first off, we don't know 100% what the sensor, how good it's actually going to be until we see the phone. Second thing, we know Samsung has a long reputation of having a really good inside display. We don't know how long Huawei's inside display is going to last. Waterproofness, wireless charging, NFC. There's a lot of features that simply, when you're looking at this on paper, this is a good eye catcher. And I think that's another thing that I'm really not getting ticked off by, but just kind of getting disappointed by, is I feel like now a lot of companies are kind of trying to just get eye catchers. They're trying to put a phone out there that looks cool, that looks unique, cool tech, and it just simply is not going to work. And a lot of times, we see these at these tech events, where we see a tech event and we see this phone come out or get revealed, and overall wise, it's like, okay, this phone's never actually going to be a phone in the market, right? But it's a cool idea, right? Cool concept. It folds both ways. It just simply would never work. And then we see a lot of these Chinese companies, they come out with these phones that would be at these prototype events, and simply, they just don't work. They just don't really add anything to the market. And I'm not trying to say like they're a scam or anything, but it gets to a point now where you start looking at it and you're like, okay, well, I mean, I understand the premise of it. I understand, the point of releasing this, but it's just like, listen, I just don't, I can't recommend it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I just feel like it makes the whole industry look worse when you release phones like this. This is my personal opinion. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.